This tutorial assumes that you already have BreezingForms installed. So I've gone to Components, BreezingForms, Manage Forms, and I am in the package that you can install with BreezingForms called the Quick Mode Forms. And I always find it easier to start with something that already has most of the components I need and then just modify it from there. So I'm going to go ahead and click this quick contact form and just choose copy. Now that my copy is made, and I know because it automatically generates copy, I'm going to go ahead and open it and then make my changes. First thing I'm going to do is put in new contact form. And the weird thing about this is that you have to save the properties and then save the form. Now, the idea is that you will do a bunch of work here and then save the properties and then save the form all at the end. But I've run into situations where I did not do that and then you lose all your work. And I'm a big fan of save often, so that's why I mention it. This form has everything we basically need except for the signature, so I'm going to go over adding the signature, and this would apply to other sorts of elements as well. Firstly, you have to go ahead and click on the page that you want the new element to be on, and then click Element, and now you see it's added an untitled element there. And I'm just going to put in signature. And you can change this to be more representative to what the field is, so that when you get the emails regarding it, you will be able to go ahead and say, you won't say, what's quick mode number blah blah blah. You'll be able to know what it is. And under the type, you'll go ahead and choose the type of field it's going to be. You'll see there's a number of choices here, from text fields, which is a single line, to a text area, which would be for a message. Radio group, which is generally when you want one selection. Checkbox group is when you would need maybe more than one selection. An actual just checkbox for maybe yes or no. To select from a list, for someone to upload a file for you. The submit button, which we already do have. Hidden input, that's something for a whole different tutorial. A summarization of what the person's included in their fields. CAPTCHA, reCAPTCHA, that's something for a different tutorial as well. A calendar, two types of calendars. A PayPal button if you wanted people to give money and you have a PayPal account. Same thing would be for Stripe. Direct payment button, I assume it's the same as these, although I'm not familiar with that. A number input, and finally a signature. So the signature is what we're going to want to have. Oh, change the label, so I need to go ahead and just put that back in there, and I'm going to change this to signature as well, so that I can go ahead and, is it going to be required? In this case it is, and I'm going to go ahead and save it right now. Save it. Now it is going to be required, and if we put validation no, then if they don't put the signature in, then the form won't complete because it's required. But I always like to put in some sort of an error message so people get an idea why their form isn't going forward. So I'm going to say please sign, and the script is going to be not empty, if value not empty. So if there's nothing in that field, it'll say please sign. I'm going to save the properties again and save the form again so that everything is all saved. So let's take a look at the front end now to see how this generates on the front end so people can actually complete our form. We're going to make a menu on the menu item for our form on the front end of the website. So I'm going to go to menus, all menu items, sure. And then I'm going to make a new menu item. And I'm going to call it form. And the select type is going to be a BreezingForms add form. And you have to save it once before you actually, well, maybe you don't. Let's see, we're going to select it. No. You have to save it once, I'm pretty sure. Oh, we'll put in the form name. So let's go back and see what that is. Okay, and we'll need to enter the name of the form. So I'm back at BreezingForms, under the name, new contact form. And we'll jump back over here. And we'll enter it, page number 1. There's some other sort of variables that you can do, but we're just going to go ahead and save it now. Invalid field, oh, we need to choose which menu it's going to be on. Select menu, I'm going to have it on our main menu, and save. And now let's look at the front end of the site and see what we got. So since I'm using Regular Labs Better Preview, I can just click on this little down deal and click on here and go right to the front end of the site. And it'll go right to the form menu item. You can see under name it says 300 pixels. We'll want to correct that. Email, how many characters, this little red indicates that it's required. So let's go ahead and fill this out and see what happens. Why not? And now down here on the signature, it can get kind of tricky. Some people have styluses or whatever. And let's go ahead and submit, see what happens. Okay, and it gives us a message about, this is the basic message that you get that pretty much tells you how you can change this message since we worked from the default install. So I'll want to go ahead and address that. In fact, we'll go ahead and do that now. Let's just jump back over to the BreezingForms. Form, and here we are on the form. And it says in page 2, it will be the message, and here is the intro where we edit, and you'll see it has the same message that we were presented with when we submitted the form, but of course since this is a live video, it won't work right. So here's the message that we received. So I'm just going to go ahead and change it and save it and save it again, of course. Let's go ahead and take a look. Now the form that was completed will be emailed to whoever is indicated, either in the default email address or here where we have mail recipients. You see as you hover over it, it gives you options to on how you would send this to multiple people. Let's go ahead and look at the records. So here, if for some reason you have a problem with your email or you're thinking, oh, I haven't received a form, you can always come here to the back end of your Joomla site and look under the records, and you'll take a look here and you'll be able to see the form that was submitted, and it'll include some other information including IP address, etc. And if you've already dealt with this, you can go ahead and delete it.